kick things off here. So just to let you know who we are and what we do, we are three friends. I think, yeah, most days we're three friends who have been friends since junior high. And we came together over comic books. That was the thing that really brought us together. That's the common thread. Besides geography and I don't mean the class. I mean we lived in the same, we went to the same school.
One street over from you.
That's right. Yeah, we were all pretty close together, and we became friends over comic books. Kind of went our own separate ways, as people tend to do, and we decided to. We didn't get a chance to spend enough time together, and so instead of a poker night, which I would win. Okay. I don't know if I would win all the time, but Cullen would lose all the time.
Right.
So instead of poker night or bowling night, we decided to get together and record a podcast and
nerdy.
And talk nerdy. So did that come out wrong? So we decided to do that, and our wives love it because we don't try to talk to them about comics as much, and so
really appreciate.
Yeah, it's a big plus for them. So we decided to get together to do that, and we started August. Was it August? That we started July, late July, early August.
July of 14.
Yeah, 2014. And so if you count up the months, there's been a couple of times where we've added an extra one in here. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 100 of the Worst Comic Podcast ever. Thanks for being here.
We are the longest running, lowest rated podcast. And
Yeah.
we're proud of it.
That's right. I think it's like every baseball player has some stat that they're the number one of. Like the number one left-handed, batter born on a Tuesday in St. Paul, Minnesota. There's someone who holds that record, and they know it. That's how, when they go to conventions, that's what they put on the bill. Well, that's ours. That's what we have for us. So we do a lot of different things on the show. I know some of you listen, and a lot of you, this will be new to you, but we do a lot of different things on the show. We love to interview comic book creators. That's probably one of the most fun things we have, because we often say that 14-year-old us would never think that 46-year-old us would get to actually talk to really cool comic book writers and artists. And to them,
They know us by first name.
well, that's true too. Yeah, we go up to people like, "Hey, John," I'm like, they know me. And it's funny because I know a lot of these people talk about being their comic book famous, which means they go to a comic book shop or to a comic book show, and there's people line up to see them, and they go to the grocery store, and they are a persona non grata. Like, nobody knows who they are. I know they're thinking, I know I've got 21 items, but I don't know if you know some of the comics I write. I really should be able to go ahead and get into this 20 item or less lane because my last comic sold big. But they're just kind of a regular person, and it's kind of weird because for me, I'm a teacher, so in my little area, that's what it's like. I'm like a celebrity. Okay, when you're a high school teacher, you're kind of, because everywhere you go to eat, one of your students is like a waiter, which is a little scary, to be honest. Or when you're mowing, shirtless, and your students drive by, or when you're just walking shirtless, or when you're, painting, or just you show up to a grad party shirtless and
pulling his pants loose.
Right.
Yeah, works out, evens us out.
That's right. So I would say that's one of the big things to do. What's some other stuff you guys like that we do on the show besides interviews?
Did you just throw the eyes over? I think I did it more. Well, so I love the games that we play. A lot of times, because we kind of read different kinds of books, one of the things that's fun is to come and sit down with these guys and be like, what are you reading? Like, we all have separate lives, besides the podcast, and so all of a sudden...
Yeah, the podcast is not a full-time paying gig.
Right, exactly, I know.
That's not
No. I would say, in fact, the part where the money comes in we're still working that out. The part where the money goes out that's easy. We got that right off the bat.
Right. And speaking of money coming in, quick plug for Cullen's Comics, 3941 Main Street.
They're our sponsor. Yeah.
Grateful for our sponsor.
That's right, absolutely. Yeah, and we talk comics, we do reviews, we talk movies and TV shows. So I'm just curious, Anybody been watching The Flash? You guys like The Flash?
Yeah.
Love The Flash. And, did you guys see this week? I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil it.
Why?
Okay, I'm just gonna say that. That's it. And then the season finale, Legends of Tomorrow, was also really, really good. So if you haven't seen that yet, really sweet ending for that. So, yeah.
So one of the other things that has been enjoyable about us getting together to do this is that for Jerry and John, it's been less time with me directly in the basement since I moved to Portland.
Right.
And so one of the things that has been nice is that as we have gone out as a podcast and tried to work some of these other conventions, Jerry and John have gone to conventions throughout the Midwest that I haven't ever heard of before. This past year, John did some work at a convention up in Topeka called Empower, where he had an opportunity to interview Lindsay Wagner, the Bionic Woman.
So, like, if you're a guy my age, that's a big deal, okay? I know for a lot of you that means Bionic Woman, whatever, that means nothing. But for me, it was like total super crush time all over again. And she was as cool as could be, so.
And for like the whole month going into it, John's like, guys, I'm gonna take one for the team. I'm gonna do it for you guys, so you guys know.
So I'm on it. I got that one.
Yeah, and then Jerry, just a couple weeks ago, went down to Lebanon, Missouri for the Lebanon MegaCon, and met some awesome new creators and the organizers and everything. And up in Portland, I've had the opportunity to travel up the state and head over into Washington State, go to Emerald City Comicon, which is a 4-day show up there. Wizard World Portland, as well as Portland's own native, homegrown comic book convention, Rose City Comic-Con. And so it's been fun getting to talk to Jerry and John about all these different types of shows that they've been doing and sharing some of the new creators that I've met, some of the weird stuff that goes on in Portland. So that's kind of been exciting as well.
Well, and Cullen and I got a chance to road trip to San Diego Comic-Con last year, which was awesome. And it was, you know how road trips in movies, there's all kinds of wild hijinks. It wasn't like that exactly. The part where our car died 100 miles east of El Paso, and when you start saying where your car died and you refer to the fact that you're 100 miles from somewhere, yeah, because there was nothing else.
It was the weirdest thing. John and I, the car breaks down and we pulled off, and you're in the middle of Texas, and it was July, and it is boiling, and I am not exaggerating. Seconds after I rolled the window down, mosquitoes started flying in.
Yeah.
Like they were like fresh meat, you know. I'm sure that
Like they only have a lifespan of like 18 seconds,
Right.
and we were there to supply the next generation. I don't know.
They led a good life that day.
I tell you, yes, today we eat like kings.
Right.
So yeah, and then I got a chance to go up to C2E2 in Chicago, which was an amazing trip. So we got a chance to go to a lot of shows, which was amazing because for us, up until a couple years ago, Planet was pretty much our show. A couple little shows and things like that, but Planet was our big show. And it wasn't even it wasn't anything as big as it is now, show, especially on a Friday. I mean, there's a lot of people here for a Friday. The first year was open on Friday. There was not very many people here, which I was here as a fan. The podcast hadn't started yet, so it was awesome because you could go up and talk to everybody and all these other people.
Getting in the way.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to give a chance for you guys to get involved, and so I wanted to get you guys involved in a couple different games that we play, give you an example of some of the stuff that we do. And so one of the games that we like to play is a game called Fan Favorite Feud. And so what we do is we do surveys at different shows where we ask people their favorite things in different categories. And so who's your favorite Batman villain or things like that. And then we have people vote, and then we have a competition to see who can guess what the most popular answers are. So what I thought we would do is we have a couple of questions, and I thought we might pit one of you against one of these handsome gentlemen over here. So we have a volunteer that would like to do that. All right, James.
Super fan, James Taylor.
Yep. And James, here, I'm going to give you this mic. Wow, so he's
Gauntlet
asking.
has been
Wait.
thrown.
Yeah,
There's,
you're asking.
there's a reason.
yeah.
Cullen, when he loses, kind of whimpers against you guys, so.
Right. You want so you want to make that happen? You want to hear the cult?
You want to make a podcast or
I'm
throw?
gonna take one for you guys.
Okay, all right. So the question we're going to do for you guys is, who is your favorite DC comic book character with a color in their name? So we've had to start getting more and more precise with these questions after a while. You don't want to do this. So here are some of the ones we had listed, because we'll list some choices out. So we had Black Canary, Green Arrow, Red Tornado, Blue Beetle, Green Lantern, Booster Gold, Red Hood, Red Arrow, Blue Devil, Black Lightning, Rocket Red. Those are some of the top ones that I could come up with off the top of my head. So James, you're the challenger. We will let you go ahead and pick first. Who do you think?
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern was the number one choice with 27% of the vote.
Congratulations, that was a good pick.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think, Colin?
Yeah, so I am gonna go, Green Arrow.
Green Arrow was the number two choice with 25% of the vote. So you've got a narrow lead here of just 2%.
Red Hood.
Red Hood was the number fourth choice with 10%. That gives you a total of 37. And Colin, you are up next. There is the number three choice, which would give you the win.
No pressure.
Black Canary. Oh, you got it, my brother. That gives you 41%. All right.
James thinks.
Oh, I thought that was your phone. So I thought for sure that.
The thrill of victory went to his head.
Yeah.
Man, that was crazy. All right, so do we have another volunteer that would like to come up and challenge? All right, come on up, and we're going to do the Marvel side now. Oh, things are going up a notch. It's just got interesting. All right, so same question. Who is your favorite Marvel hero with a color in their name? I will give you. Yeah. Oh, sorry. And this is going to be you versus Jerry. And so it's.
What is your name?
Asher. Yes.
Thanks for coming up.
Okay. All right, so Asher, it's going to be you versus Jerry, and so here are some of the names that I had down. Scarlet Witch, Red Hulk, Red Wolf, Blue Marvel, Black Panther, White Tiger, Black Widow, Black Bolt, Yellow Jacket, Silver Surfer, Blue Shield, and Black Knight. So, do you have an opening guess?
Black Widow.
Black Widow was the number two choice. Excellently well done though. That was 23% of the vote. So there you go. Don't panic yet. Jerry,
How about Black Panther?
I tell you what, Black Panther has had a surge in popularity for some reason recently. I don't know why. And that was the number one choice with 28%. But you're not done yet. Do you have, what's your second guess here? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm an awful person. That's unrelated to what just happened there, but I just happen to be an awful person. I just thought I'd mention that now, at this time.
Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch was the number four choice. I was a little surprised she didn't come up a little higher with 14%. That gives you a total of 37%. Jerry, you're at 28. You have one more guess, and there is only one answer, which will give you the win.
Debating between two.
And just to let you know, these guys have not seen the results of the survey. I do all the math on the show. I teach physics, so math is kind of my thing. Right.
Let's try Silver Surfer.
Oh, he got it. Silver Surfer comes in with 16%. That puts you at 44. Ashley, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, so that's an example of one of the games that we like to play on the show, and it's a lot of fun. And sometimes we'll go a little further down the choices, but for time, I cut it a little bit short. Yes, sir.
Where do you guys get the percentages from? Is it a website, your guys' personal website that you guys have like votes on? Or?
So usually what we've done is we have, at a con, we'll print out So this is the actual flyer that we gave out to people. So we did this at Free Comic Book Day at Clint's Comics. And so
Where was that?
That was at Clint's Comics, our sponsor at 3941 Main. Just really not that far from here if you want. And they have a booth here. They have a whole bunch of long boxes here. You can go over there. So yeah, and some of our folks that we know, some of our friends who are here today, we met at Free Comic Book Day last year at Clint's Comics. So it was a great way to do that, and so we got a chance to do that. One of the things we talked about on the show, we also sometimes play a game called Superhero Over Under. And so we'll ask a question that's a binary question. There's one choice or another choice. And then the guys will have to decide, one will pick what they think percentages of an answer. Like for instance, one of the questions I asked was, which team, Team Iron Man, Team Captain America? And so that was just a question I had at Free Comic Book Day. And then one of the guys will guess a percentage. What percentage do you think said Team Iron Man? And then the other one will have to predict over or under. And then sometimes that'll lead to a really good conversation. So I will let you know on the Team Iron Man, Team Captain America, it was really close to 50-50. It was like 40, like with rounding, because there was a couple people who put like Spider-Man or some other superhero from another, like Booster Gold, like that's not, no one's on Team Booster Gold, okay? Right, I gave you two choices, and I have students that do this all the time. It's A, B, C, D, and they write in another choice. That's not going to be right. The other question we had related to Civil War was, should American superheroes or superhero teams be allowed to operate internationally without any government oversight? So that was the question we asked. And not only was it kind of cool to do the game, but it was cool to talk about that philosophically, which I think was one of the strengths of the movie Civil War, was that I talked to a lot of people who were like, I'm really torn on this. Like, I see both sides of the argument. And I think also there were a lot of people that I kind of agree with Iron Man, but he was a jerk. So I don't want to agree with him. So I think they were torn on that. And I think the Russo brothers have done an amazing job with that movie and Winter Soldier and kind of doing that political aspect and making the movie about something more than just the comic book action that was in there. So, well, and I have another game, but we can do, what were we gonna say, Jared?
I was just gonna throw in a plug for a friend.
Yes.
Because friend of the show, Andy Parks, who's just recently returned from a teaching gig over in England, he got a chance to do a book about a year ago with the Russo brothers, the director of Captain America, Civil War, and they also did the Winter Soldier movie. The book is called Seated On, and it's available at Amazon. A lot of comic book stores have it. Check out that book. I'm going to say it's not an all ages book. Probably don't want to let the kids read it, but it's an interesting story about a drug kidnapping down in Central America.
We've all been there.
And we begged Andy to make some phone calls and let the Russo brothers know that we were available to be extras in the movie, but that never happened.
Yeah, we have a few things that we try to put out there. We have like our ongoing invitation to Cullen, who?
Right, Nick Cage.
You're right. Anytime Nick Cage wants to be on the show, open invite.
There's always a chair for Nick Cage. If any of you know Nick Cage, if you would let him know that we are willing at any time to have him on the show.
We've also got
We don't have to talk about Ghost Rider. We don't have to talk about it. We can talk about whatever you want, Nick.
we also have the standing invite for Paul Rudd, as well as Paul Rudd's mom.
Right? Right. And Andy Parks is a great guy, but he will only, it's weird, every time we're gonna have him on the show, he will only come to the show if we meet in a bar. Like, that's the only time.
Yeah.
And if you know Andy, it's sad. I don't wanna talk about it anymore, but he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's been in England teaching, and he's been living literally in a castle. So he shows these pictures, he's got these pictures from his study, and it looks out over these grounds. It's like Downton freaking Abbey that he's living in all the time. I don't think they have servants anymore, but it looks pretty sweet, so.
But they don't have barbecue.
They don't have, or Mexican food. It was like the first thing he had when he came back was he went out for Mexican food. Apparently in England, well, I've heard actually in England all the food's not that good, but especially I don't think they have Taco Bell. Well, let's play another game here. We're going to play a little superhero over under. These questions also, like I said, I'm a teacher, so I have this captive audience of people who have to listen to me. And so what I will do is I will ask them quiz questions about superheroes, and then these guys have to guess, and then over under. how many of my students knew the answer to that question. So I know they're gonna know the answer to the question. I know you're gonna know the answer to the question, but a lot of them do not. And I teach physics, so these are already nerds, okay? So you figure that's gonna raise the percentage, and it does some, but not all the time. So we can have some more audience participation. So anybody who hasn't participated yet, wanna come up? Any volunteers? Come on up, sir. And we've got a few of these. All right, tell us your name.
My name's David.
David, nice to meet you, David.
Thanks for coming up, David.
All right, so we'll start off here, and
Is it not on?
Yeah, check the lights on, maybe.
there you go.
That's the second thing John likes to do is hand people dead mics and then,
Is that the first one?
Hey! Is the mic still on for that? Okay, so, all right, so this was, I asked, and so we'll have you go up against Cullen. Do you want to do the percentage? We'll have you do the percentage, and then Cullen, you will try to say over or under, all right? Okay, so I asked, what is Batman's secret identity? And I specified, I want the main Batman, not any of the other people who've been Batman, not any alternate reality Batman. And I gotta have first name, last name. I'm okay if the spelling is off. It's not that hard to spell. It's not that hard, but spelling, again, these are physics nerds. Spelling, if it's not X equals, it's the spelling gets a little dicey. So, what percentage of people would you say correctly identified Batman's secret identity?
I'm gonna go 40%.
40%, so you believe 40% got that correct. Okay, Cullen, what are you gonna go for on that one?
I'm gonna go over.
Over, yeah, it was over. I will tell you that the actual amount was 84%, which was actually, for these kind of questions with my students, that's actually surprisingly
I
high.
think the highest response rate.
I think so. I mean, like, what newspaper does Clark Kent work at? Clark who? What? And so.
It may have been the newspaper part that sort of.
Right, they don't know what newspapers are, right? We had to define that, that got dicey. All right. Right, that's right. All right. Oh, all right. Another volunteer? All right. Sir in the red, come on up. And we'll get several people up here real quick, so we'll rapid fire some out. And I'll have you know that mic is now not dead. All right, what's your name? Toby? All right. That should be dead anyway. All right, so Toby, this question is, so there is a superhero whose secret identity is Barry Allen. What superhero is Barry Allen when he superheroes it up? Now, do you know the answer to that question, who Barry Allen is? Excellent, okay, the Flash, you're accelerated. All right, so you gotta skip a grade. All right, so that may not
You
be.
just got a passing grade in AP Physics.
That's right, exactly. Exactly. You're my new favorite student. All right. So, what percentage of people do you think correctly identified Barry Allen as being the Flash? 35% is the answer. All right, Jerry.
I'm gonna go a little higher.
It was a little higher. It was actually 48%, and I think, I mean, you gotta, that's the TV show. I mean, pure and simple. There are so many people, and Grant Gustin, so a lot of girls watch that show because he's cute, and you know, it's true. That's I'm not judging. That's just a fact. That's just a legit fact. So, all right, Toby, thanks a lot, sir. Very nice.
Thank you.
Coming at you. Have we-
My throw is my arm.
Yeah.
Catch.
All right. All right, next person here. All right, come on up, sir. All right. So the next question. Name.
Austin.
Austin. All right.
Coming up, awesome.
So I have posters in my room. I have a lot of posters in my room of superheroes, and a lot of them are just like, I have some that are just a whole thing of headshots, and one of them has a whole bunch of DC characters, and one of them was Two-Face, and I pointed at the picture of Two-Face, and I said, who is this? And I would accept either I told them it was a Batman villain. His face was right there, but I told him it was a Batman villain, and either his actual name, or like who he was before he became Two-Face, or I didn't say, who he was. Tell me who he was before he became Two-Face, I'm not that dumb, but you know what I mean. So, real name or super villain name, whichever. What percentage of people do you think correctly identified as being Two-Face?
60.
60%. Cullen.
I'm gonna go under.
It was 67%. Nicely done. Excellent, Jake. Put the pressure on. That was good. All right, next. We've got a few more here. Anybody else? All right, come around.
Throwing star, actually.
Yeah, that's really gonna get people to come up and down.
Oh, yeah. I still will never hit them, but.
All right. All right, tell everybody your name.
Simone.
Simone, excellent. Thank you very much. All right, Simone, I asked students to name an alien in DC Comics. Somebody in DC Comics, a DC comic character that is an alien not from Earth. What percentage of people do you think could successfully write down the name of an alien?
40%.
40%. All right, Jerry, is it over to you, I think?
Yeah. I'm gonna go higher.
It was higher, it was 77%, and for most of them, Superman was the answer. I mean, that's kind of the obvious answer. I was hoping somebody would say Starfire, but nobody said Starfire. But a few people knew Martian Manhunter. I was actually impressed, probably from Supergirl. And although I had more people that said Martian Manhunter than actually said Supergirl, which was interesting, but she seems so down to earth, you know? So that's right.
Way as an alien.
It really does. It really says alien, although She-Hulk, not an alien. All right, we got a couple more here. Anybody else? All right, right back there in green. Coming up, sir. I want to thank you guys. We actually did over/under on how many people were going to be at this panel, and I think Jerry set the line at 50.
Now wait, real quick, sorry sir,
Yeah.
so one of the things that we kind of talked about traditionally was many of you have become our friends or by no choice of your own, or our family members. So we want to let you know that we really appreciate the fact that you spend any of your time hanging out with us,
For sure.
listening to us. So anyway, we tried to pick by counting how many people we know so far who would be here, and then guessing on top of that. So all that being said, I think we had picked 50.
Right.
Larry had picked 50.
Yeah.
And John, you had picked under.
I took the under.
And I picked the over.
Yeah.
And I don't know, do you think we're?
I think we're just shy. I think we're a little shy of 50, but
50, that's
I
great.
said it was either way. I said, here's the thing. If we get more than 50, that's awesome. I will be so happy. If we get less than 50, I win. And it's, yeah. All right, tell us your name, sir. Rusty. All right, Rusty. So the question for you is, I asked, what is the real name of Captain America? And I want the traditional Captain America, 1940s, World War II Captain America. Not that the other Captain Americas have not been fantastic, and I don't love them, but let's keep this simple. The Captain America in the movies, Captain America. What percentage of people do you believe correctly answer that question? 60%. All right. I think Cullen, is this yours? No, is this Jerry's? I think it's Cullen's. Cullen, back to you. Yeah, back to you, Cullen.
I'm gonna go over.
It was actually, this was shocking to me, 33%. Only 33% knew. I know. We're gonna say the over/under on people catching one of those. I don't know who took the under, but you are winning right now.
Oh, Rodney accused me of being a stormtrooper earlier.
You couldn't get anything. Yeah, that's nice that when stormtroopers do paintball, they don't have to clean up after. It's nice, yeah. All right, anybody else? All right, come on up, sir. And I was so many people said, well, I know Captain America, but they didn't know. They always call him Cap in the movie so much. They don't, but people call him Captain Rogers, and I would have even taken that. Like I would have accepted that last night. I would have taken Rogers, but it was not. I think sometimes with so many superheroes have two first names. There's a lot of superheroes with two first names, like Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne and Barry Allen and Hal Jordan. It's kind of this thing they do, and I don't know if they figure, my name's Jordan, like I'll like that guy because he got the same name as me, and if they, I don't know, it just seems weird to me that they do that, but maybe it's just so, Steve Rogers is so plain Jane that people couldn't even remember it. I don't know, it's a possibility. All right, your question.
Wait a minute,
Oh, sorry, yeah, name. Colton, excellent, Colton, thank you. All right, so your question, I asked, what is Wolverine's mutant power? I said, now, I'm not talking about the claws, he's got the claws, but I'm talking about his mutant power. What is his primary mutant power? What is it? All right, so, you guys. So, what percentage of people do you believe got that correct?
I'm gonna go with 30%.
30%. All right.
Because that was the number I had.
Yes, when you
I'm
steal.
gonna go lower.
The actual answer, that was a good pick. It was actually 38%. So it was really close. Yeah. I'll tell you what, for catching it, you get a free business card.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to
Yeah.
the audience.
Oh, okay.
I'm not quite for sure why. But
That they're our friends? What? I don't know where you're going with this.
two of the people in this room that I know of
Yeah.
have listened to every single one of our podcasts.
You guys know the Iron Man triathlon? Yeah, listening to our podcast is like the audio equivalent of the Iron Man triathlon. It's like you run a marathon and then you bike 100 miles and you swim first because they don't want people to drown. That's smart. I mean, yeah.
So, shout out to James Taylor and to Bill Schmidt. You guys are both.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, Bill showed us his notes, and he's got them here with him. He has taken notes as he's listened to them, and he's got things grouped into different categories.
God bless you.
So the rest of you need to step up your game.
All right, do we have another volunteer? We'll get, yes, right back there, come on up. All right, and I like the hustle. I love the hustle. That's gonna play so much better when we listen to this pod. I'm gonna have to go through this podcast and cut out the times when everybody's walking up. All right, so tell everybody your name. Yeah, Jolie, okay. So, all right, so I asked people, I pointed at wrong question. I asked people, what is Iron Man's real name? So what percentage of people do you think correctly identified Iron Man's real name? 50%. All right, Cullen, you're up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over. I think more.
The answer was 78%. So in the Team Iron Man versus Team Captain America challenge on recognizing their actual name, Iron Man came out way ahead of Captain America on that one. So thank you so much.
Captain America's an IP. Oh, that was hard.
That was. Did you see the break on that?
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, all right, ready?
Up and in too. Yeah, nice.
Robert Downey Jr.
I had somebody put Robert Downey Jr. / Tony Stark, and so I was like, okay, that's good. But yeah, there were a lot of people that definitely did that. I tell you what, we want to give a chance for people to ask questions you might have about the show or about us. Or about any of our other interests. Woodworking, that's not actually anything. So, yes.
So you guys used to always do it when you interviewed people, you asked what, if they could have one superpower or if they could be one hero. So there's a lot in here that probably don't know who you guys would pick. Who would you guys pick?
So if I could pick a superpower, what superpower would I have? Let's start down there with you because I see you really wrinkling your face and I like to put you on the spot.
Right. Well, so there's always the classic, do you want flying powers or to be invisible?
Right.
So I would definitely want to have flying powers.
And you can pick from any. I mean, but you're saying of those two? Are you going to open it up?
Look, I am an untreated ADHD dude, and that question
But not
must be
unidentified.
like,
Untreated, but not unidentified.
Right. So yeah, I'm gonna go with flying. Yeah.
I heard a survey about that. They were asking people, would you rather have flight or invisibility? And almost everybody says flight. And the guy purported that actually everyone was lying. That everyone wanted to be invisible, but they didn't want to admit that they wanted to be invisible. Because there's really not a lot of good stuff. Like when you start listening, okay, if you were invisible, what would you do? It's not a lot of good things that I bet you're coming up with first. I mean, you might say nice things out loud, but the things you're really thinking about, yeah. Flying would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be, what about you, Jared?
I've said this before, I think we got this question in our library.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna go with like Aquaman, the underwater.
Oh, you mean talking to fish? Exactly. No, we just had a big conversation about it.
Yeah, we did.
Right?
Because there's somebody on a Facebook meme that was like trying to really build up Aquaman.
Right.
As if he's a real person and was having some self-esteem issues, but and I just had a problem because one of the things was like strong as Superman and even more invulnerable, and I'm like, bull. Like I think Aquaman's pretty cool, but strong as Superman and more invulnerable, nay.
Right.
No,
Yeah,
I
so
say
we're
the
Aquaman.
nay. Yeah. I've always been a Superman fan, but he's got so many powers. You can't just say Superman because then you're taking like all the powers. I mean, like he just makes new powers every once in a while, like just the ability to extrude peanut butter or something. So
I like that he could morph his face.
yeah, there was a classic.
Silly putty.
Yeah, there was like a classic one where they were like aliens and he had to look like an alien, so he actually molded his face with his super strength to look like an alien. Like, okay. So, yes, super ventriloquism was one of my favorite ones. So, yeah, it was amazing. But I picked one, I'm a big fan of super speed. I think super speed is way underappreciated by most people who do it because the person's always standing there watching. Even the person with super speed is like, and then the person they shoot, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm like, did you just forget that you had super speed? Like the person goes for the gun, and they always wait for the gun to come out. Like the person goes in, and you can hit them 1,000,000 times before they even got the gun out. Like I don't even get how Captain Cold is a viable enemy. Like I'm going to, and I'm in prison. What just happened? Like, I don't understand what was on there. Like everything was fine, and so that's probably one of my favorites. Except for maybe, I don't know, being immortal, like not dying is cool. I think that could be cool. Oh, there's a downside to that too. I tell you, what superpower would you not want to have? And I'll start.
Okay.
Telepathy. I don't want to know. Like your opinion of me is none of my business. Let's keep it that way. I think I'm not a big fan of society now, but I think if I had telepathy, right downhill.
We should probably go ahead and
Yep.
do the drawings.
Oh yeah, we gotta do the drawing. So
5 minutes.
yeah, so we're getting the 5 minutes. We want to do the drawing here. So I'll tell you what, we'll do that. I'm gonna go ahead and shut off the recording. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you have a blast at Planet Comicon this weekend. We're at booth 428. So if you want to come talk to us at all, please do so. We're here volunteering for So I'll say Here Initiative. But we'll be there all weekend, sort of on the artist alley side of stuff. So please come by booth 428. We'd love to see you and get to know you guys a little bit better, and you can tell us what you love.
We also have a lot of panels throughout the rest of the weekend. Most of them are in this room,
That's
so we are
correct.
dubbing this the WCPE room.
Correct.
And one last thing, because we're givers, there is a short box of comics and trade paperbacks in the last row by the doors, and as you guys are heading out, please grab one or a couple and take them as you go.
Okay, stop. Don't go to the next YouTube video or channel or skip or don't do anything. Real quick, 5 seconds. We have 3 different channels. Please subscribe to them. Username Nerd News, username Nerd Comics, username Nerd Games. We have separated them out into 3 ones. Choose all of them or just one to subscribe to. You'd love it. I promise you, we'll give you great content. It'll show up in your feed. You'll love it. Just real quick click. It doesn't take but a few seconds. You'd be awesome. Thank you.